In the run up to the French Revolution, it was let them eat cake, which of course is a misquote attributed to Marie Antoinette. That's not exactly what she said, but it is kind of what she meant, right? Either way, the phrase let them eat cake became associated for centuries now with the elite, the people looking down on the poor, and of course associated with revolution. Unfortunately, today, the Trump administration is not telling us let them eat cake. In fact, they're telling us the opposite. You can't even eat cake. And yes, that is what Dr. Mehmet Oz, the failed Republican Senate candidate who got a second chance under Trump and is now the administrator of the Medicare and Medicaid Services Office, said this week in an interview with Fox host Stuart Varney about people that are losing their Medicaid. Don't eat cake. So we've actually gone from people being offended to being told to eat cake when they don't have bread and food to now, hey, you don't have bread and food, but also don't eat cake. I'm sure the French revolutionaries from a couple hundred years ago would definitely have something to say about that. But here's what happened with Dr. Oz. During his conversation with Stuart Varney, they were talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And Varney brought up the fact that, hey man, 11 million people are probably going to be kicked off Medicaid. Varney said, 11 million people would lose their coverage because of the changes to Medicaid. That's going to be a political problem for you, isn't it? And Oz said, I don't believe that number's correct. Medicare and Medicaid are the backbone of the social safety net of our country. We must preserve these entities. He said that Medicaid was, of course, addressed in the bill because of waste, fraud, and abuse, which has become one of the only things this administration even knows how to say. Medicaid was addressed in the bill not because of waste, fraud, and abuse, not because people are taking advantage of the program. They targeted it because it was a place that had a lot of money and they needed that money to pay for the tax cuts for the wealthy. People like Dr. Oz and Stuart Varney, who will get those tax cuts. But then Oz continued. He said, if you're able-bodied and able to work and you're not, on average, you're spending 6.1 hours a day watching television or just hanging out. So we're saying you ought to try to go to work. That, of course, is a complete and total fabrication. Complete and total. More than 90% of people on Medicaid already do work. The few that do not have actively searched for jobs or have even held a job within the last 6 months. And then there's another portion of them who have actively retired, but this administration doesn't recognize that they have retired. So they're still going to force these people out of retirement back to work. Nothing will be saved. Lives certainly will not be. But anyway, Oz continues, we'll be there for you, the American people, when you need help with Medicaid and Medicare, but you gotta stay healthy as well. Do the most you can to really live up to your God-given potential to live a full and healthy life. Don't eat carrot cake, eat real food. So not only is this, yes, we're taking your health care, yes, don't eat cake. So you got the elitism all over it. We're taking your health care so I, Dr. Oz, can have a tax break. Also, you can't eat cake. You can't have any of the enjoyment in life. You got to work, die. And then your kid will take over and work, die. Don't eat cake, you son of a bitch. You haven't earned cake. Now listen, I get it. Cake's not healthy. And we should all strive to be a little bit healthier. But we also, at the same time, shouldn't deprive ourselves of the simple joys of life. Because if you're one of these people that is at risk of losing your health care, working a job where you break your back every day, I would say they've earned a little piece of cake. Hell, I would say they've earned as much cake as they choose to eat. And Oz is out there saying, you fat slobs, get off your lazy ass and get to work and put down the junk food. So not only do you have the elitism, you have this horrid condescension and a complete disconnect with what these people are. And by the way, Dr. Oz, if it wasn't for people sitting on their couch for 6.1 hours per day, as you say, nobody would know who the fuck you are. right? Nobody would know. Nobody would care. You never would have had a show, and you'd just be some weird little yahoo that Donald Trump probably would have deported. So, maybe don't trash the same people who are the only reason anyone gives a crap about who you are. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.